Feeling unsupported by my partner after having a baby. So, ever since I had my son months ago, my husband has started making indirect comments about my body. He never says any hurtful words, but I find his observations, as he calls it, hurtful. For example, he'd see me wearing an old top and say, "Oh, that top used to look good on you, but not anymore though." Or when he looks at my waist and says, "Wow, didn't know your waist could get this wide." Basically passive stuff that I tried to ignore till it extended to friends and family. FYI, this went on for months and months and months. We went to Christmas celebration at his family's home. My SIL complimented my floral maxi dress, and my husband said, "I agree, it looks nice on you, though I have to admit that your waist could get smaller than this." Awkward silence took over. I was absolutely fuming, and this was my last straw. So I got up from my chair in the middle of dinner and shouted at the top of my lungs, "Shut the fuck up about my body." He was absolutely speechless as his family stared while some others tried to get me to calm down, but situation got more tense and dinner ended up being cut short and my husband storming off to his friend's place to spend the night upon leaving a very nasty text saying I embarrassed him and made a scene over an observation he made. He called me childish and told me to get therapy for my insecurities instead of verbally abusing him and scaring his family. Now I feel like an absolute idiot asshole and like I ruined Christmas for him and everybody with my oversensitivity. Am I the butthole? Setting boundaries and standing up for myself. I'm a 28-year-old woman, and when I was a kid, my parents always hosted the family Christmas Eve party. This year, my dad was recovering from a surgery, so I offered to host at my new house, which I share with my girlfriend. When I was planning the party, I at first didn't really know what to do about my Aunt Marie. She's always been pretty homophobic. She'd always be talking shit about the gays when I was a kid before she knew. When I came out in my 20s, she became really frosty to me and basically stopped talking to me. So when I was planning the Christmas party, there was no way I was excluding my girlfriend who's estranged from her own family or putting her in a situation she has to face more bigotry. I also didn't conspiracy to cancel family or whatever, I just personally didn't want her there. I replied, "I assume this is about me not inviting you to the Christmas Eve party?" Honestly, the holidays weren't canceled, I just didn't invite you personally, as you have expressed hateful views towards me such as, I wrote a long bulleted list that is taking this way over the word limit here, but some of the stuff on it was stuff like being glad AIDS called a lot of F-slur. I said anyway, since I'm a lesbian and I share my home with my girlfriend, I specifically uninvited you due to your behavior towards me in the past. Nobody's canceling the holidays, just you, smiley face. It's not some new woke trend either. A host choosing to only invite guests who respect them and their household has existed for as long as parties have existed. Well, that blew the hell up. My family all started calling me and texting me and saying I went too far. It was enough to just not extend an invite. Really want to have my aunt over for my own sake, like I'm more used to it, but it still makes stuff tense. And it was my own damn house. So I ended up inviting all the family except my aunt. My dad angrily confronted me about it, and I basically told him that I know he never allows someone who disrespects him or his wife into his home. Now I'm not a kid anymore, I'm as old as he was when he became a parent, I own my own home, and I'm going to be handling my household the way he raised me to, with respect for myself and my partner. He actually apologized for putting me in an uncomfortable spot when I was young. He planned a Christmas Day dinner with her and their other siblings. The Christmas Eve party itself was lovely. Well, on Christmas Day, my aunt posted this lengthy rant about how young people are canceling Christmas and about her woke niece. It was super long and super out of touch, like there's no big. But it was too much for writing a massive list of like 20 years of grievances. Some of my family was even saying it was shitty of me to list homophobic stuff she said before she knew I was gay. Am I the butthole for the Facebook comment I made? Am I the A*** hole for refusing to pay for my in-laws' dinner on New Year's Eve? IF32 recently inherited a good amount of money from my mom. I keep the money in a separate account as I still haven't decided what to do with it and I didn't want it to go to waste. I noticed my husband constantly bringing up the inheritance money and making countless suggestions as to how I should spend it. Another thing is that he expects me to pay for nearly everything the past couple of weeks. For New Year's Eve, my husband and I met up with his family at a restaurant to celebrate. It was going fine until I found out that I was expected to pay for everyone at the table. My husband's mom joked about paying for dinner out of my inheritance pocket, which made me livid, but I showed no reaction. Just silently paid for my own food/drinks. Then I got up and made my way out of the restaurant. They were shouting after me like a crowd, and my husband tried to get me to come back, but I drove home. He got back at 3 a.m. yelling at me, saying I was pathetic to get up and walk out on him and his family after they relied on me to pay for their food and thought I was gracious enough to do it, but they were wrong. He said I humiliated him and family, and that what I did was an attempt to get back at them for not being able to help Mom when she was sick. Not true is all I'm gonna say. He is mad and is saying that I caused a huge rift between his family and me when it wouldn't have hurt me to pay for the celebratory dinner. Am I the butthole?